screw it. We're doing it live. Okay, starting here with the Han team. We are going to be seeing a Lizardmen army that consists of 3 Saurus Spears. We got some Skeen Cohort with Javelins and Cold One Riders, just the regular variant here. Got the Pahak Sentinels Pterodon Riders. And then we are going to also be seeing a Saurus Old Blood on top of a Carnosaur. Now, taking a look at the Empire, we're going to have 2 Great Swords, 4 Spearmen, as well as the Sigmar's Sons. We have a Light Wizard, net of a Mintok, I imagine, in Shem's Burning Gaze, with Volkmar the Grim, who looks like he has his whole kit. We're also going to be seeing a Skink Priest of Beast with that Summon, and Wissen's Wild Form, interestingly enough. Got 2 Mortars, and that rounds out the Han team. Now, 5 dozen eggs, bringing the Dwarfs and the Wood Elves. It looks like we got Orion himself, but starting with the infantry as usual, going to see 2 miners with blasting charges. We got some Longbeards, and then up in the front we're going to see some Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards, and over here some more Dwarf Warriors. Now for the ranged power, which seems to be the bulk of this army, we have Thunderers. Looks like 3 of them. We have 2 Trollhammer Torpedoes, always happy to see them. 2 Waywatchers with Orion, the big badass that he is. Orion, very underrated lord as far as I'm concerned. People talk about him like he's a meme lord, but he's actually really good. Not the most competitive, I would say, but still really good. Got Spellsinger of Beast over here, also Manticore summon, but with Flock of Doom. Over here, the Wood Elves and the Dwarfs looking out for any Vanguard shenanigans that they will hopefully punish with their Sisters of Thorn and a unit of... Okay, he moved that other unit of whatever it was. So yeah, Sisters of Thorn, and then we have 2 Wild Riders in the back there as well. Now, Runesmith and a Rune Lord are both on the field, and that's going to round it out. Good luck, have fun to both teams, and almost evenly matched in terms of numbers as well. About just under a 200 model difference. Now, Empire is going to be the one forcing the Dwarfs and the Wood Elves to them. Unfortunately for the Empire, though, is they're not going to be able to see the Waywatchers until it's too late, of course, but they do have some mobility to try to chase them down here. Oh, sorry, those are spears, never mind. So these cold ones. And the Saurus Old Blood too, but they just have to be very careful. But once they're discovered and they aren't stalking, these mortars can be very, very effective. So we may be seeing some very nice work there. Now, when it comes to game capture cursor, okay, sweet. Just turning off my cursor because I realized I had it on. Turn the cursor on for when I'm playing and streaming, but I don't like that cursor on here distracting y'all when we're watching a battle in the 3rd person. Thought you told Ryan to leave. Hey! The Riders! Aren't you the Tree Blobber Pro, Aristo? Ooh, Zardar. You know it. Aristo's the best tree blobber ever. Both teams just kind of pushing forward to each other. Oh, look at this. I did not notice. These 2 mortars have 4 ranks, so silver chevrons on each of them, which should make them a fair bit more accurate. And I guess we'll see what happens up here. Looks like the Light Wizard and Volkmar the Grim are pushing forward, trying to do some scouting perhaps. I think recognizing that the Wood Elves more than likely have some hidden units on the field. However, they'll have to be careful. If he overextends and he gets caught between both of these Waywatchers, he can take a lot of damage. And as you may have noticed, no healing on the field. So although he does have that passive regeneration, you know, every bit of damage counts. What the elf? Okay, there goes a Shem's Burning Gaze on top of the Spellsinger. Not going to do the most damage, but it is going to knock her over, and she's probably going to get really mad about it. Get back to her feet and start levitating, and bang! A very nice first volley from the mortars, dealing about a quarter damage almost to these Dwarf Warriors. Crazy stuff. Over here, Waywatchers moving around the flank. Curious to see where they go. They don't have a ton of mobility to worry about, and obviously I think like 2 volleys from them would be able to take care of these Cold One Riders. So the Cold One Riders are actually pulling back rather than going out and chasing them, which I like. Got to play this patiently and let your artillery do the talking so you can try to take care of the ranged power of your enemy as quickly as possible. And switching up targets, it would seem. This one's going to be going into the Dwarf Warriors, who did a very nice dodge. You'll see there that Shetland Apache halted their movement. The mortars hit in front of them, and now they're pushing forward again. Alright, there goes another one. Will the Dwarf Warriors dodge this one? Doesn't look like it. And there we go, a lot of damage. Damn, those mortars are just doing some really good things. And the 4 chevrons, it does appear, at least in my humble opinion, that it is making them far tankier than they would be otherwise. Over here, Thunderers are now going to be the target of their ire. And once again, a very nice hit, disrupting their formation, preventing them from firing for a little bit. And over here, it looks like a Grand Soulfire is going down, and it's going to do some nice damage to these Dwarf Warriors too. I would have liked to have seen that possibly saved for a bit later, but, you know, it's ability. He can pop as much as he wants. It's not like he's limited on it, so suppose he can do it right now, get some nice early damage, and then save one for later too. Over here, Way Watchers are getting pinned in place by a net of a Mintok, and Spearmen are coming in to get on top of them. The Longbeards are going to be able to come over here and probably take care of them, but look at that. The mortars firing in on top of these Way Watchers too. And, oh, absolutely worth it for that alone. However, maybe the Spearmen with shields were a bit of overkill, but I kind of like the decision anyways because it's forced the Dowie player here to react. And now there's a lot of units kind of getting bunched up that may be good targets for those mortars again. But mortars are still focusing on the Way Watchers and unfortunately going to miss that volley pretty big. Over here, got Feral Manticore in the back lines, trying to tie up these mortars and spearmen, taking some significant, dealing out some significant damage on top of the mortar. But we'll see if the Empire is able to deal with that. All the while, though, since they are on guard mode, they'll continue firing. And looks like they're still targeting these Way Watchers for the time being. All right. Looks like we have Cold One Riders coming out to fight now. Hounds of Orion going down on top of these Greatswords, but now the Greatswords getting on top of the Dwarf Warriors and dishing out a ton of damage. Saurus Oldblood taking quite a lot of fire from the Thunderers, though, so he's going to have to be careful. Looks like he's going to be pulling back now to get out of range, but the Way Watchers are also firing in on him, and look at the damage going down there. Absolutely heinous, and just keep reminding myself that there is no healing on this Lizardmen army, so all the damage he tanks will be damage he keeps throughout the battle. But the mortars are both back online now, and they are firing away and continuing to dish out a lot of damage. Over here, however, some Cold One Riders who are trying to get in the back line look like they have been successfully dealt with. Soar Spears are pushing forward here, trying to lay down that pressure, and funnily enough, it looks like the Empire and the Lizardmen are kind of overwhelming the Dwarf infantry, which isn't something you normally see. I mean, Greatsword's always a great pick, but right now it does look like the Dwarf infantry is just taking a lot of damage. Over here, looks like we're going to be seeing another Grand Soulfire going down and doing quite a lot of damage to those Longbeards. Volkmar the Grim continuing to dive through too. Flock of Doom going down on top of these Greatswords, trying to kill them off. Alright, we have the Wood Elf Sisters of Thorn back here fighting with the Saurus Oldblood and some Cold One Riders. Spearmen are inbound as well. And damn, this is a close fight, but I have to say the Empire and Lizardmen here from Team Han seem to be doing well. Seeing the net of a Mintok going down here, pinning all of these very important units in place. The Saurus Oldblood is diving in there, doing some damage. Looks like we're going to be seeing a Manticore summon here coming in from the Wood Elves. But now the Saurus Oldblood is in a very, very dangerous crossfire. Look at this. I think he just walked into the jaws of the beast in order to kill those Sisters of Thorn, but he probably should have stayed away, and it looks like he's trying to get out of here now. Foe Seeker has been popped. Did you just open the door? My daughter just opened the door and came into the room. That's the first time she's done that. Hey, you. Okay, but there go the dinos chasing away these terror-routing dwarf miners. Orion taking quite a lot of damage to the Saurus Oldblood, actually. diving forward now, and he's actually going after all of the range units here in the back lines, but I think he's about to die. Trollhammer torpedoes have fixed their eyes on him, and he is between them and Thunderers, so I think this next volley will kill him off if he's even alive to eat the next volley from these Trollhammer torpedoes. They have a slow fire rate, but yeah, there he goes. He's down for the count. And Empire, though, still has the lead in the balance of power. I mean, we are going to be seeing these Cold One Knights getting a very nice route here on top of Thunderers and Longbeards. And both of the mortars are still online with about a third or more of their ammunition left. So if they can deal with these range units from the Wood Elves and Dwarfs, I think they have a chance. However, look at this, guys. Some nice micro on display from Pippington. He's going to work around there in like a button hook formation, or sorry, a button hook maneuver to get on top of the mortars and shut them down. It may cost them their life as spearmen go in to surround them and a net of Mintok pins them in place. But I would say they successfully dealt with one of the mortars and possibly both of the mortars at this point. So a sacrifice that may not be in vain. Over here in the back lines, Cold One Riders getting taken down now by some Sisters of Thorn and missile fire, but Sword Spears coming in here with shields to help counter balance and, you know, help take care of these Sisters of Thorn. But Trollhammer torpedoes firing into the back of them, and they have a ton of ammunition. Not really the best suited to kill infantry, but hey, they're definitely up to the task if it's needed. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and those Trollhammer torpedoes are just going to start bombarding the Saurus infantry. And the huge armor piercing is just devastating. It kills models like nobody's business. Alright, over here in the back lines, though, look at this. Shetland Apache's leadership squad is getting killed. Runesmith, terror routing. Rune Lord is getting close to it. And that's a huge loss, losing the Runesmith and the Rune Lord in one fell sweep. And I have to say, look what the Empire, or the Team Han, has done here. You know, they've pushed forward. They've kind of set up a new line where they have these infantry units out here screening, and they're getting their mortar back online to fire away again. And it looks like they've cleaned up their back line, gotten it protected, and now they have the other mortar also coming in to help out. All right, now this Light Wizard is fighting the Rune Lord one-on-one. May want to get some help over here, in my humble opinion, just because it's going to take a few lucky hits from the Rune Lord to do a lot of damage to the Wizard, and he has 120 armor, so this Wizard really has no business. However, here comes Volkmar the Grim. He's going to hit him hard on the flank, and although he doesn't have armor piercing, he does have a nice bonus versus infantry on top of his pimp wagon, so looks like he's going to be doing quite a lot of work. Now the balance of power is just kind of getting out of hand for the Wood Elves and the Dwarfs. We'll see if they have a chance to get back into this. Pahak Sentinels are coming over here chasing down the Sisters of Thorn, but now they are routing after some fire from the Thunderers, and the Empire and Lizardmen infantry are just continuing to push forward. And yeah, as soon as they just keep on pushing forward with all this infantry units, compromising these range units, they'll be fine. And honestly, if I were Team Han at this point, I would pull everything back onto my mortars. The Wood Elves and Dwarfs have very minimal units left on the field besides ranged power, and as long as you protect your mortars from their mobile units, I think you kind of win by default. But if you keep rushing them piecemeal, you can easily get yourself caught in a lot of crossfires like it seems that these Saurus Spears have. In my humble opinion, it looks like these guys may be in a world of hurt. And also, I don't think... what is the mortar range here? Yeah, the mortars have good range, but, you know, a lot of these missile units are getting out of their range now, which means they're not going to be supporting their infantry as they're chasing these units down. I mean, the balance of power is so far in favor of them at this point that maybe it doesn't matter, but yeah, I would really like to see them just pull back, redraw their lines to about here. That way, if the missile units are shooting at them, they're in easy range for these mortars to counter. Over here, Banishment coming to come down. Ooh-wee. Oh, that banishment, though, did some nice work to him. continuing to get a lot of them. There goes the Shatter, and that's going to be a GG. And we're tied 1-1, guys, after a pretty epic showdown here between Han and 5 Dozen Eggs. Yeah, I mean, honestly, MVP, I have to give it to the mortars. I mean, also just the infantry these guys brought really paid off in the end in terms of they just completely outclassed the infantry brought by 5 Dozen Eggs. I mean, I guess outclassed may not be the word, outnumbered. And yeah, possibly outclassed, because I mean, great swords, they'll beat Longbeards. Unbreakable infantry to tie up other units, spearmen, very cost effective. But then not only that, you have 3 Saurus units who, in my humble opinion, you know, they're capable of taking out everything up to Dwarf Warriors. They'll probably lose to Longbeards for sure, but other than that, I just think the mortars countering the ranged units and then their overwhelming infantry that just really made it hard for those range units to get any good work done, because the mobility here that was on the side of 5 Dozen Eggs in the form of the Wild Riders just had a really hard time penetrating and getting on top of those mortars, as we saw, because of some nice play here from the Light Wizard with the Nets of a Mintok, and then also just the fact that those Wild Riders got pretty effectively countered by Saurus Spears, and more importantly, and I think more evidently, by just the regular Spearmen in the back line. So these mortars, beautiful work, but some really nice combined arm tactics, I think, being shown here from Team Han.